Hello, all. Welcome to the fourth unit of Effective Technical Communication. And in this unit, we will be taking up manual writing. Okay. So, in this class, the first kind of manual writing that we will be taking up is your user manual. Okay. Now, user manual, as the name suggests, is a manual which is meant for the users, or it is like a guide which is going to help the users to operate a particular product. So, every electronic gadget, starting from something small like a mobile phone to something humongous like an air conditioner, for instance, all of these electronic gadgets are accompanied by a particular document which is called the user manual. And basically, in this document or in this user manual, the users are guided on how to operate the particular product. Okay, so everything, everything about the product and everything about its operation needs to be included in this manual. And the manual is usually in the form of a very small booklet. Okay, which contains every essential information that a user needs to have with regard to the particular product. Okay, now it is basically an official writing section, and it contains a precise structure, and of course it has to be written. A user manual has to be written by somebody who has got technical knowledge. That person may not necessarily be a technical expert, but that person should not only have basic technical knowledge, but that person should also have essential knowledge of the product on which he is writing the manual. Okay, so that is your user manual. All right. Now, um, there are a few steps on the designing of the manual. Okay, so how you write a manual, before even writing a manual, what is the design? How is it that you completely plan and organize the manual? Okay, and plan and organize the final product of it. So the very first step that you have in the designing of a manual is planning the manual. Okay, now planning the manual, this section, or not this section, uh, this phase rather, it includes audience analysis. So the target audience, who is your target audience for whom you are writing the manual? you know Task analysis, it is like the method of classifying and forming steps required to utilize the product. Okay, so basically, it is like a detailed analysis to recognize the equipment and materials needed for every step. So task analysis basically, it is a step, it's an essential step or essential phase of the planning stage, where you kind of figure out what equipments that you are going to need for this particular, you know, uh, for this particular product, and with this equipment, how you are going to write the manual about it. Okay. Then comes labeling and authorization requirements. Now, this is like the uh, you know, for a product's user manual to be operative, it requires to be written in accordance with the labels pinned to the product directly. Okay, so it is like a lawful license which certifies your product, and also labeling helps you to recognize which company the product lawfully belongs to. Okay, then you have to coordinate with your teammates. Of course, you have to coordinate with the teammates of the ones who are actually designing the product, uh, because until and unless you coordinate with them, you wouldn't be able to know about the functioning and about the technicality of the product, right? So that is coordination of the with the teammates is extremely important. Okay, now you also have to decide the manual's blueprint. That is, you have to decide, or you have to plan the manual. The product is already being planned by experts. Now you have to plan the manual as to how you are going to organize it, what you are going to keep in the first page, what you are going to keep at the last page, what you are going to be including in the middle section. So all of these things have to be done in the planning phase itself, or the planning phase of the manual itself. Okay, then you have to include essential information like explaining the product, setup guidelines, and warnings related to the setup, the parts list, the results of an improper setup, what will they be if the setup is not done well, then how you unpack the product, okay, and whom you should be approaching if any unforeseen crisis or if any unpredictable crisis comes up, okay. So all of these things are required to be included, okay. And in your essential inclusion of essential information, you should logically arrange, as I told you, logically arrange your manual, okay, what you should be including, the topics in the manual, you should be logically arranging them, you should be presenting information, okay, in the proper way, and you should also present information about the certain processes of your product and also warnings, and also you should be giving the product summary, okay, like you should be giving product summary, okay. Then you have to describe the maintenance of the product, okay, and of course you have to add visuals, okay, and you should be ending with a proper conclusion. All right. So now the format of a user manual. So what is the format of a user manual? So the format includes, the table of contents, so introduction, okay, about the purpose of the manual. You have to include the product overview, uh, okay, how to, start the manual, and all of those things you have to include, okay. You also have to include the setup requirements, okay, and you are also supposed to include initial setup steps, okay. So all of these things are required to be included. All right. So this is about your format, okay. You have to include steps, you have to include information about troubleshooting, you have to include information about maintenance and care, okay. Safety information, regulatory information, contact information is extremely important, customer care, okay, these all of these have to be included, okay. Then comes the introduction, okay. Now in the introduction section you will be including what the purpose of your manual is, the product overview. Then you have to talk about, in the second section, you have to talk about how to get your product started. Okay. So then you have to talk about the maintenance and care. Okay. Safety information. All of these things are required to be included in a product manual. Okay. Then technical specifications you have to include. Okay. Warranty information, contact information, like I told you, it's extremely crucial. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of user manual, or end of the topic of user manual, okay. In the next session we will be taking up product manual. Thank you so much for listening.